People, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It is great to see you. Great to see you. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. And today I have a great opportunity for all of us to speak with a brother for whom I have tremendous respect. Many times you've heard me mention Nuri Muhammad on this platform, and we are blessed to have him here today to have just a fun, intelligent, well-rounded, all Black conversation. So as you come in, if you could join me in greeting my good brother, Mr. Nuri Muhammad. How you doing today, man?
Oh man, I'm doing good. Feeling good. Thankful for life, health, and guidance, and really excited to share space and time with one of the greatest freedom fighters and warriors for our people that we've produced in many centuries, the great Dr. Boyce Watkins. So I'm happy to be in sharing space and time with you, my brother and mighty warrior and comrade in this struggle.
Well, you know what? I want everybody to just type the word ditto in the chat, because when I talk about Nuri, the accolades don't stop. And I always mention brothers like yourself and really the nation in general. I say, look, if you're looking for the future of Black people, the good future, we got multiple futures for the Black community, but the good future for Black people is already in the present. It already exists within the Nation of Islam. If you go down to the Muhammadan University of Islam, you see some of the best educated Black youth in the world. When you look at the brothers from the nation in terms of the way they present themselves and stay on code and engage with the world, it's wonderful to see. And so I encourage everybody to pay attention. And I want everybody to know flat out, I don't care what you say about the nation. I am an ally, period. That will not change. There's nothing you can say to me that's going to change that. And so let me dig into this, man. Let's jump right in. So you have I've watched you a lot on social media, and by the way, I'm gonna tell everybody to follow you on social media for sure. I'll put it up on the screen. And it seemed to me that you were doing a lot of conversation about relationships, men and women kind of interacting with each other. Is that like a shift, or is that something you kind of always done? And why is that important to you?
It happened accidentally on purpose, Dr. Boyce. If you understand what I'm saying.
Accidentally on purpose.
Accidentally on purpose. What hurt me, I, of course, like yourself, we get invited to speak and teach at all different kind of platforms, colleges, political organizations, churches, activist groups, banquets, etc. But what I found is that after we finished whatever we were doing, whatever work we were doing that was for the public, there always was a private conversation with the organizers of these events. And these are the, really the thought leaders of our people. And these are those that are on the front line fighting for freedom, justice, and equality. And what we found, Dr. Boyce, in the private sets is that almost all of the leadership was having problems in male and female relationships. And I said, man, your home is really supposed to be a spiritual recharge center where you unplug from the wicked white supremacist world and come to a place of peace where you can let your guard down and extract from that environment love, peace, and happiness, and get recharged to go back and fight the next day. But if every time you're coming home and you are fighting in the world, I have a saying, I said the last thing that a Black man wants to come home to after fighting in this world is to have to go round two with his own woman. And the last thing that a Black woman wants to come home to after fighting in this world is to come home to a man that ain't been fighting at all. So what we found is that our leaders were being drained on both sides of the equation, fighting in the world, drained, then come home and have to go round two with their own mates, which made them less effective at really bringing about change for our people. So, I got tired of having them the sidebar meeting. So I said, look, I'm going to do before you say I do. This is some stuff that you need to look at yourself and in the other person before you say I do. And then I have after you say I do. And now I kind of, try to be like the old school doctors when they pull me to the side. I just say, here, take 2 of these and call me in the morning. and so far, they have saved hundreds of marriages and have gotten thousands of people off to a better start than they would have on their own. So I'm really thankful that this work, before you say I do and after you say I do, has been used really as a psychological and spiritual weapon by wives, husbands, and people that are courting one another to make that right decision.
Everybody was speaking with Brother Nuri Muhammad, and we're having a well-rounded, all-black conversation about all different kinds of things. And I hope you all will take a second and hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button, and also you can follow Nuri Muhammad at Nuri Muhammad. Is that correct? Is that your Instagram?
Yes,
okay, at Nuri Muhammad. His name is spelled on the screen, and I want everybody to be intentional in supporting the people in the community that you want that you support as important voices out here. So put a yes in the chat if you're going to consciously go and follow this brother and engage with him, because we got to support the people that we believe in, and I support Nuri completely. So one thing you brought up, Brother Nuri, is you were talking about things you should look for before you decide to say I do with somebody, and what are maybe 2 or 3 things that come up right offhand in terms of things you might want to look for? Maybe we start with the men and maybe the women. I imagine men and women look for different things, right? What would I look for as a man before I decide to lock arms with a woman for life?
Well, of course, there are the same traits that you would look for out of a friend, out of a business partner. Those aspects of honesty, integrity, loyalty, those are the principles. But what I recommend to every brother and sister to do, before you get married, make a description of what an ideal man looks like if you're a woman, and make a description of what an ideal woman looks like to you if you are a man. And as you begin to court or interview the potential mate for your life, you want them to be able to already have in the present 7 out of 10 of the items that you have on the list. And of course, you all can work together and bring out those other 30% or those other 3. Now, if you find somebody, so teaches the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that is 70% of what you already are looking for in an ideal man or woman, that's compatibility. You can work on the rest. Our problem is that we find somebody and we see somebody, we got a list of 10 things. There are 3 of them, and 7 of them we think that I'm going to love him in such a way. Wait till I put this food on him and that good, and by the time I get finished, he's going to be. No, whenever you get married to a man or a woman, you're not supposed to look for a project. You're supposed to be looking for a partner to help you with some projects. If you find somebody that's 70% of what you're already looking for, that's a partner. But if you find somebody that's only 30%, that's not a partner. That's a project. And you can go to aisle 5 at Walmart and find a project. That's not what you're supposed to get when you're looking for a mate. So I would say that, you look for that match, that mate. And I'm 100% for, as the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches, I'm for a black man being with a black woman. You can't call somebody a mate or a match. You can't call a red shoe a mate or a match for a green shoe. First thing you're looking for is it has to look the same and be the same color. So look for a black woman, black man, and look for a black man, black woman, and then go down the list of those traits and qualities that you describe as an ideal man or woman, and make sure that you've got spiritual traits at the top and not physical traits at the top. You should not have as your number one, he's got to be bald head, dark skin, with broad shoulders. That should not be at the top 3 of your list. It should be the spiritual traits, and the same for the brothers.
Well, in a way, it almost, if you think about it, right? And that's kind of how we do. Well, not we, but you see people picking mates in that way, right? I work from the outside in and not from the inside out. And even I did that when I was young. You see a beautiful woman and you just gone, and then you work inside and you see things you don't like, but what you saw on the outside leads you to ignore some of those warning signs. Like I've seen people do that. And so in a way, it's almost like picking what I want to eat for dinner by thinking about the dessert and then working backward to the vegetables and the meat or whatever it is that I'm going to eat, right? When really maybe I should look at the health of the meal first and say, okay, amongst the healthy meals, which one tastes the best?
Now you teach. Now you teach. See that, and that's we got bad math. The fact that in the United States of America, counting black, white, Indian, Hispanic, Asian, there's a 50% divorce rate in America. That means that 1 out of 2 couples that you see are not gonna make it. But in the black community, black people in America, we have a 75% divorce rate. That means that for every 4 couples that you see, 3 of them are not going to make it. And more than likely, it's because they had the wrong criterion whenever they was choosing that person that they was going to call the partner for the rest of their life. So I mean, it's if you're really looking for a lifetime partner that is going to help you to be the best version of yourself and fulfill your purpose for life, you should know by now that the color eyes they have or the size of their body parts is not going to assist you on that level to fulfilling your purpose and becoming the best version of yourself before you check out of life. So look for those interior qualities. As you said, look for the nutritional value and then think about how it's going to taste later.
Everybody who's here, I'm speaking with Brother Nuri Muhammad, one of the smartest, wisest people in America. And I hope you all will follow him at Nuri Muhammad on Instagram. I want to really push his brother's Instagram because we got to listen to the right people in order to be successful. Also, I want to let everybody know that Nuri has agreed graciously to join us at the All Black National Convention this year. He's one of about probably 25 or 30 guests that we're bringing in. We're bringing in the most powerful, most intelligent Black people in the Black community. Nuri's right at the top of the list, and we're just trying to have a great event. And so if you want to join us, go to allblacknationalconvention.com. I specifically called Nuri because I know that Nuri has wisdom, and I know he understands relationships, and I just really felt that that his energy is the type of energy we want in that space, in a B1 space where we put our community at the top of our priority list. So go to allblacknationalconvention.com. You can get your early bird tickets. It's going to be in Orlando at the end of October 29th through November 1st. So I hope you'll join us down there. So hit the thumbs up button, everybody, if you haven't done that yet. So you know, brother, let me jump into a different arena then. Let me switch gears a little bit. Sha'Carri Richardson. This weekend, everybody was talking about Sha'Carri Richardson. Sha'Carri ran for the first time, I guess, since her suspension, and she ran against some powerful sisters from Jamaica, and it wasn't much of a contest. And there was a post race interview where she kind of expressed a lot of emotion and stuff like that, and a lot of people on the internet had a lot to say, good and bad. I'll tell you the results. I did a survey of the people in the B1 community to see how people felt. What I found was this: I found that approximately two thirds of the people felt that she did a little too much talking, before the race, that she maybe should have toned it down a little bit, been a little bit more humble. There was about 1/3 that felt that what she did was just fine. What were your thoughts when you saw what was happening with Sha'Carri, and what did you take away from everything you saw this weekend?
Well, first, Dr. Boyce, I want to say I'm a fan. Really, I'm for everybody Black. That's just how it is. I'm always gonna root for you if you're Black. But whenever I seen that she was going to be in the Prefontaine Classic, I hit record. I came to the front row. If there's a such thing in my house, I came to the front row of my seat and I was watching, and I was hoping that she would be able to perform well. But of course, I seen the interview, and my take would have been a different kind of response from her. I would have liked for her to have said that, first of all, I want to congratulate the great sisters from Jamaica. This is their thing. This is what they do, and I congratulate them. She she beat her personal best that she just set in the Olympics and got a gold for it then, and she ran it today. I've been a little offbeat. I'm trying to deal with this new fame that I have, plus all the propaganda, while in the midst of that, trying to stay true to my craft. So y'all stay patient. I'm gonna be on. I'm going back to the drawing board. I'm gonna come back stronger than ever, and I appreciate your support. That's the kind of spirit. But then I thought about the fact that this is a 21-year-old sister that hasn't come up in a traditional nuclear black home where she could have gotten access to those traditional life skills and those communication skills that you would like to see manifest in a professional. And I said, man, my youngest daughter is 21 years old too. How would she handle it? Can't say it'd be the same, but I'm looking at not a celebrity, not a superstar. I'm not looking at really a grown, experienced adult. I'm looking at someone that just broke the tape of going from child into adult and did not have the traditional support system. So I'm proud to see that she still has fight, drive, and focus. And I'm hoping that she'll learn from the mistakes and let her actions speak for her. Get on the track and do your thing. You don't have to sell yourself no more. We already bought in. Go ahead and show up and do your best. But it would have been good for whoever gave her food to prepare for the race. They should have, of course, had a nice bowl of bean soup. Would have been good for her. She could have had some vegetables and some wheat bread, and would have been good if she had just for dessert a small slice of humble pie. Small slice of humble pie. But I think her future is bright, and I'm still in the corner, still rooting for her. But I'm hoping she's in a field that I really like to watch, because track and field to me is one of those sports where the people in the sport, number one, I see spirituality from them. Number two, I see a camaraderie among them, even whenever they're from a different country. And number three, there's a certain class and ethics that people in track and field generally have. I think that if she stays in the profession and lets that culture of spirituality, class, and camaraderie rub off on her, that she's going to be much more effective in the sport than creating rivals off the field and on the field.
Well, what kind of stood out to me, man, is first of all, the way I kind of process things, I see it as a lot of what you're saying, right? For guys like us, we see Sha'Carri Richardson, we see our children. We have an 18-year-old we just dropped off to college, and and you wish you could be her father to kind of get on the phone and say, okay, that's not exactly how you want to handle things. And what I have observed is that for a lot of our young people, particularly those that don't come from a solid family structure, there's a lot of influences out here. There's a lot of people that would get in her ear and say, you're the center of attention. You're the one who matters. Who cares what anybody else thinks? You go out here and you just do whatever. And then you see, some of these young people drive themselves right into a ditch because they're maybe listening to, their favorite rapper or getting caught up in the hype. And so voices like ours are not always the first voices that they want to hear, and I think that it speaks to something that, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this. When you go back, in fact, we're slightly shifting, gives a slight pivot, but still with the Sha'Carri thing in mind. One of the things I noticed is that there are so many of the more intelligent celebrities and public figures who will reach out to Minister Farrakhan or people like yourself to get that kind of advice, right? To get that kind of wisdom to kind of say, okay, how do I navigate this situation? And And this is the narrative that people like myself know about. You know it far better than I do. But that's not the narrative that's played out in media, right? We know media has decided that Farrakhan represents something, that is way over here, and they're not going to get away from that because the propaganda is too strong. But a lot of Black folks can benefit from hearing, this kind of wisdom that you just shared just now, right?
Yeah.
And I know personally when I speak to you and or either Dr. Wesley or anybody, a lot of people from the nation, it's like you hear it, you're like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Be humble, be ready, be decent to other people, do your best. You are special, but also the camaraderie is best. These energies feel really good, and I think that sometimes we have other influences that push us away from that toward the toxicity and the volatility. So without me even laying that as a question, I know you're a smart man, and I'm sure that everything I just said, because I spoke a little bit too much, I apologize, but
No.
everything I just said, I'm sure has spurred some thoughts. What comes to mind when you process everything I just said?
There was a study, Dr. Boyce, that Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu revealed in his multiple books countering the conspiracy to destroy Black boys. But he found in his study and research from the University of Michigan that in the 50s, the top 3 influential forces in a Black child's life was home, church, and school. But by the time you made it into 2007 and 8, that home had been hijacked, church was gone, and school had no effect on the decision-making process of young Black children or teenagers. Guess what took its spot? Number 1, peers. Number 2, social media. And then number 3, the lyrics found in music. So by the time you get finished with peers, music, and social media, this means that the young mind is being fed by another young mind that is not connected to the wisdom and counsel of the elders of the previous generation, because the rappers are young. The people you follow on social media you follow people like yourself. So you're looking at a timeline of young people, and all your peers are the people you kick it with. They're young. So what happens, as Jesus said, when the blind lead the blind? Both of them gonna fall in a ditch. So that mathematics, it was done intentional, where they hijacked the divine authority of shaping and molding Black children's mind, which should be mama and daddy, and then those institutions of reinforcement, which be religious houses and educational facilities. Those don't have juice no more with the young mind. So peers, social media, and hip hop is the only thing I'm making my decisions off of. So I'm bound, to be in a bad situation. So those brothers and sisters, as you said, that break out of their box, and this is the truth. Like I know, Dr. Boyce, that whenever all the daytime struggle is over, when you laying down in the quietness of the night, sometime, I don't know about you, but I reflect on what I could have did, should have did, or would have done, where I would be if I had did certain things when I was young. And then I come to the realization I can't go back in time and fix it. But I know some young brothers and sisters that are the age I wish I could go back to. So I never take speaking engagements in no city unless the people that are inviting me can guarantee I'm going to be able to get into a high school, a junior high school, or an elementary school, or many of them. Because at the end of the day, somebody has to go into the mind of these young soldiers and really debunk the self-destructive, self-defeating thoughts that have been dropped in their mind by spirit killers, aspiration assassins, and dream snatchers, and redo it and validate them, encourage them, where they'll start knowing, you know what? Let me get away from just listening to people that's on the same level as me, and let me find my uncles, my aunties. Maybe they don't live with me, but let me find somebody that has been where I'm trying to go so that I can get there faster than they got there. So that's the math, you know. That's what happened. We got our spots hijacked, and it was done intentionally by our enemy. And we got to come as parents and take it back.
You said spirit killers, aspiration snatchers. Is that right?
Aspiration assassins and dream snatchers.
Okay, aspiration assassins and dream snatchers, and that acronym is SAD. That SAD.
Wow.
So yeah, I remember things, brother, with acronyms.
Wow.
And I was taking notes.
You multiply that SAD, spirit killers, aspiration assassins, and dream snatchers. Multiply that SAD by the other SAD, the standard American diet. And when you put them two together, we got a concoction and a recipe for disaster.
Wow.
So and I'm gonna say this, you know, when I talk to you and you talk to me, we call each other brother. You know, I was talking to Sister Taryn earlier today, one of the producers and helpers on your staff. I call her sister. See, if I'm Sister Taryn's brother and she's my sister, that means my son is her nephew and her daughter is my niece. So when we really start identifying one another as brothers and sisters, then we take on a family problem concept and we begin to look out for one another. And you'll be surprised. Sometimes your son and daughter can get a message better from their uncle or auntie than they can from the father or the mother. But if we get to that point or return to that point where we start calling each other brothers and sisters, and then by proxy, calling our children each other's nephews and nieces, then we're going to do everything we can, every opportunity we get to pull their coattail to help them to go on the right path. And we might find ourselves back in that number one spot where they'll be leaning on wise adults that can help guide their life.
Everybody, I'm speaking with brother Nuri Muhammad. Nuri Muhammad is from the Nation of Islam, and he is obviously a brilliant black man that everybody should follow. Follow him at Nuri Muhammad. I put his name on the screen so you would spell it correctly. He's also joining us at the All Black National Convention, which takes place at the end of October 29th through November 1st. You can go get your tickets if you'd like to join us at allblacknationalconvention.com. Bring your family, bring your church group, bring your spouse, bring your investment club, whatever it is you want to bring. We will make sure that your family and your group gets what they need, because we're going to do all kinds of stuff that whole weekend. Activities related to B1 philosophies of bringing ourselves together and working together. The other thing, too, is to dig deeper. You guys may know on Wednesday nights at 8:30, we're reading Dr. Claude Anderson's books. We're going through with a fine-tooth comb his book, Black Labor, White Wealth. We're going to do Powernomics next. So this is a community book club. It is free to the public. And you also get access to the life class I put together free. It's all free. Go to blackkeystogreatness.com if you'd like to join us. This is something that I want to do because I agree with what Brother Nuri is saying when he says we have to become the school system for our children. We are the school system. Ain't no Chicago public schools. I ain't worried about that. I look at the Nation of Islam. I went to the Muhammad University of Islam, and there is no dilemma about how do we educate these black children. We just can't figure it out. You know, they say, well, we just don't know that 1 million black boys can't read at grade level. We don't know what to do. Well, they know what to do. They just go visit the Muhammad University of Islam. Those young people were asking me questions. They were 13 years old, asking me questions that graduate students ask. So just stop it. They playing games with y'all. Now let me go ahead and just show y'all in terms of the notes I was taking with what Brother Nuri said. And this is a good way to help you remember this. I use acronyms to remember things. He said that according to that study by Jawanza Kunjufu, the 3 influences, pay attention now. I need y'all to let me know. Give me a yes if you're hearing this. The 3 primary influences of black boys particularly were school, church, and home. School, church, and home. That's SCH. First 3 letters of the word scholar is SCH, right? That's how I'm going to remember that, right? So we were making them into scholars by school, church, home. Then it got replaced by peers, music, and social media. Well, so they took your boys from SCH and they gave them PMS. So So now, so now a lot of your black boys are out here PMSing because they've given them this concoction, as the brother mentions, that is making them into something other than what they are meant to be. God did not design the black man to be running around here having PMS.
Come
Okay,
on
so,
now. Come on.
so if you want to remember what Brother Nuri was sharing, because I was sitting here taking notes. When I tell y'all I listen to this brother, I really do. I'm literally writing things down. I want y'all to carry this away with you. Share this with the people in your family because we can do this. We don't. These influences don't have to have any influence over us if we don't allow it to. And so I'm gonna slow down and be quiet because I've talked enough. I'd like to go to one final area I'd love to get your thoughts on is this. Okay. When we talk about this term black leadership and what's going on with black leadership in America, as you might know, I don't have a lot of faith in what the stuff we see on TV and all that. I probably sound like a cynical old man right now, that shakes his fist at everything, but I'm sorry. Some of this stuff just makes me tired and irritated. What would you consider to be the state of black leadership, and where do you think black leadership can go in a way that that could be very positive for the community? What are your thoughts?
Well, it's unfortunately, we how can I say it? The poorest use of time is to do really well what need not be done at all. And most of our leadership are guilty of having the poorest use of time. We spend too much effort and energy trying to repair the system and not enough energy trying to replace it. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said what I'm saying in this way. He said, do for self or suffer the consequences. So right now we are at that phase where you keep in mind that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said this almost 80 years ago now. Here we are being told do for self or suffer the consequences. Well, how long can someone tell you do for self and then not get to that second phase where we are suffering the consequences? Our effort and energy, what's handicapping black leadership is that they're not trying to replace, they're only trying to repair. They're always trying to figure out how can we fight, protest, boycott, ask, beg, call on, vote in, vote out. What can we do to make ourselves fit in to something better? At what point, if you standing there holding your arms up, asking somebody to embrace you, how long would you be standing there asking somebody to embrace you before your arms get tired and say, you know what? This is a waste of time. Here I am holding my hands out, asking for somebody to embrace me and treat me equal. And I've been doing this for 450 years. Maybe I can use these arms to build something for self since they're tired standing still doing nothing but begging anyway. So we've got to graduate, Dr. Boyce, from trying to repair to trying to replace. We've got to graduate from begging to building. And the minute that anytime I hear anybody in leadership and all they're talking about is voting or getting more justice and rights from a system, I immediately turn off that station. If you're not talking, I don't care whether or not that they let my children in their school. Go build go build your own. I don't care whether or not that they won't treat us fair at this facility. Well, hell, build your own facility. The hospitals are racist. Well, hell, stop going. So that's the point. The point is that the crisis of leadership comes because everybody, as a general rule, there's not there's not a lot of black leaders. There's a lot of African American leaders.
I like that.
There's a big difference between an African American and a black man. African Americans are trying to fit in. African Americans are trying to repair. African Americans love to beg, but black people, they want to replace. Black people want to build. They don't want to be second-class citizens in somebody else's house. Black people want to have their own home that they can call their own. I think it was Billie Holiday. It was a little before my time, but did she say something about mama may have?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact words, but
And Papa may have, but God bless the child that has its own.
there you
So,
go.
so, so if you're in leadership, stop begging. If you're in leadership, stop wasting so much energy trying to repair and fit in, and start investing your time and energy building something for self. You don't like the way they treat you? Well, then replace it. The school ain't right, replace it. You don't like the way that they handle you in the court? Well, replace it with your own conflict resolution centers in the environment you live in. Whatever problem you have, stop asking them and begging them to be better towards you, and do something for self, and let's be better. So that's the crisis. That's the crisis. And I found out this, Dr. Boyce. I went and seen some of the college degrees that people have, and I took it out the case and flipped it over. And no matter what the degree was on the front, on the back, almost all the degrees were in fit-in-ology. You said something the other day. Colleges do not produce Black wealth.
No, they don't.
Colleges increase white wealth, because at the end of the day, you leave with the goal of fitting in and upholding white supremacy and finding you the best place you can inside of it. Never thinking about building for self. So that math has to change. And until that math changes, the new generation of our people, we're not listening to nobody that's trying to get a bigger piece of the American pie. We want somebody that's wanting to get the land to plant the trees, to grow the apples, that can get the wheat out the ground and then come inside with our own ovens and make our own pie.
There you go. I love that, and you said so much, and I want everybody in here to acknowledge what Brother Nuri said by typing "do for self." Everybody type "do for self" in the chat, because I think that is a very powerful lesson for us to carry away with us from this conversation. Again, we're not here to entertain. We're here to really understand. And if we're here to teach, if you appreciate that part, that's fine as well. But we don't stand here with self-righteousness, right? The ideas are in the community. We happen to have a platform to share our ideas, but your ideas matter as well. There's a lot of people in our community that are already doing these things, right? They're growing their own food. They are educating their own children. They are running great businesses, and shout yourselves out if you're doing that. They're raising extraordinary young people that are going to be the leaders of the next generation. And so I want to acknowledge all of you in the chat as well that are already doing it, and to just know that we don't sit here. Sure, if we can be people that can guide you, then we're glad to do that. But we don't sit here and pretend to know all the answers. I don't want to be the alpha and the omega and the be all end all. I think that we are all that we need. We. That's the word, like the French. We. All right. So everybody, just a quick reminder who I'm speaking with. I'm speaking with Brother Nuri Muhammad from the Nation of Islam, and you should follow him at Nuri Muhammad, Nuri. And also allblackeconomics.com is where you can go to sign up and get free information from the Black Business School. Write that URL down, and I'm also put Nuri's social media on the page. And I'd like everybody, if you could, type a yes in the chat to acknowledge to me that you're going to go right now to Instagram and follow Brother Nuri. Follow him. We need to support the same way people support their rappers, their favorite rappers. We got to support our favorite thinkers. And so I want to intentionally, remember, consciousness means consciously doing the things that matter, not saying I'm going to do it later or, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. No, we got to be intentional because if you give me a small group of intentional people, that is more than a million brainwashed people any day of the week in terms of impact and power. If you are intentional, that means you're going to be efficient and effective at achieving your goal. which is
That's
going to
right.
push you right past all the weak people in a second, right? So let's start being intentional about this. And I'm publicly supporting and endorsing everything this brother's doing, and because these are the solutions that I believe in, and I hope that you all will go and be a part of that and support and everything else. So I want to say thank you, brother Nuri. It was great to speak to you as always, man.
Man, my honor and privilege, and I look forward to us in the end of October and the 1st of November at the uh, Black National. Am I saying it right?
It's close enough. The all black. We say
All
all
Black.
black, but
Yeah, not just
hey.
black, all black. All Black National Convention. And I hope that you all will invest in yourself and come on out and join us. And I guarantee you'll leave the sessions with the great minds that Dr. Boyce has coming with more faith, more knowledge, more willpower, and strategies for economic independence for yourself and family, that you might be able to build a legacy that God and your ancestors will be proud of.
Yes, yes. Remember, if you are the family, you are the school system. You are you are the economic system. You can be the family bank. You can be all these things that you think society gives to you. You can have that in your own house. You are the institution, and I want everybody to practice thinking that way, so that you'll feel empowered enough to go and do what you got to do. So the URL, if you want to get super early bird passes for the All Black National Convention, if you are going to come and you get to the early bird pass, just know that does help us. We had to put up to $100,000 on the line to make this happen. So I'll be transparent about that. So your support means everything. We are going out of our way to make sure we give you exactly what you need. We are going to have spaces for vendors as well, because we do not want corporate sponsorship and we do not want any government money. So this is not Black leadership brought to you by McDonald's. This is Black leadership brought to you by the B1 community, by Black people. And so, and also, if everybody who wants to get a discounted hotel, we got the hotel. It's a beautiful resort with 9 restaurants and everything else. If you go to abnchotel.com, you can actually get $100 off your hotel room. We got them to drop the price from about $270 to about $160, right? So it's not very expensive. The rooms are beautiful. So feel free to go to abnchotel.com if you want to lock that in. So thank you very much, Brother Nuri. It was real.
You, sir.
All right, all right, and everybody, hit that thumbs up button on your way out, and don't forget to follow Nuri on social media at Nuri Muhammad. God bless everybody. I'm gonna take me a nap. I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye bye.